Hello.
Hello, everybody.
It's Chris from itsashort.com, and I am joined by the esteemed cast and crew, some of whom are actually joining us by phone because we're having some technology issues. So our incredible actor Hope Singson is actually on the phone, and Gustavo Ruiz is both here and on the phone. He's a dual.
I am on the phone, yeah.
So great. Okay, so we just wanted to, first of all, I want to welcome everybody to the live Google Hangout with the cast and crew of The Session, and make sure and give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. I want to say that itsashort.com is a we consider ourselves the Netflix of short content, and we are so excited to be the online premier host for The Session. I'd love for you all to sort of meet everybody who's here, and I thought we would start with the writer-producer, Mark Belusi. Mark, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Howdy, everyone. As Christine said, I was able to write and produce this and had a good time doing it. I had a great time with this cast of people, friends, and as well as people I've worked with over the years. And you know, I was just lucky to have all the good people to play with on this thing, and we had a blast. So that's me.
Hey, thank you, Mark. And Hope is going to join us by phone. Hope, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I can't be seen. I can actually see you guys on the Google Hangout. I'm looking at you on my screen. So my name is Hope Singson. As you know, it was such a joy to work on this film. I want to thank Mark for introducing me to the crew, Edgar. It's so much fun to work with, and Gustavo and Jimmy. And thank you, Christine. Thank you, Mr. Short, for shining a light on this funny little film that was so entertaining and sharing it with the entire interweb.
Fantastic. Thanks, Hope. And you know, the great thing is that we have Pete here with us, who is who did the sound in post, and Pete, we may have to call on you to sort of clarify, in the event that we can't hear Hope as well as we'd like. So the next person who is in absentia is Edgar Fox. So we'll just simply give a shout out to Edgar and hope that he joins us later, and then go straight to Pete, who is a member of the crew, as I mentioned, and very involved with The Session in post. Pete?
Yeah, my name is Pete, and I've worked with Mark for many years, and I did the sound design and the mix for this film. So that is my part of the crew. So, I don't know if you guys can see me. Can you see me?
We cannot see you. We just see this sort of amazing icon. Are you able to show us? We can hear you, which is brilliant since you're the sound person. But we'd love to be able to see you as well.
I might have to be mysterious over here. I can't seem to get it going, but at least you can hear me, and my job is done there. So
there you go. Consistent with your profession. Okay, and the next person that we'd love to hear from is Gustavo. Gustavo, can you say what your role was with the film as a member of the crew?
I've known Mark for many years as well, and just very glad that I can use my former experience in filmmaking and just go along and work with his craziness and his creativity, and it just makes it all fun, and meeting all the cast and going to different locations. It's just an exciting thing, and I'm looking forward to some more.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much. And Jimmy Ganas, talk to us about your role in all of this.
Okay, sure. Well, I was putting together short films. I had just finished a continuing education degree over at NYU, and I was sort of working independently, putting together short films. And Mark and I used to work together a lot. Mark I go back with Mark as well, and Mark has all this material that he's constantly generating, and so we put our heads together, and I worked with Mark to try to put this, execute this this story that he put together. And let's see, I pretty much handled the camera. I shot it, broke down the shot list, and then I captured it into the computer and did the first couple passes of editing, and then I think this has been a while, so I'm sorry if I'm not remembering accurately. I'm sure Mark will jump in and help me remember.
He was a monster on this. That's all I'm going to say. He was a monster. And did all the technical stuff. So I'll refresh his memory for him. He the shooting and the editing and the vision and stuff. So.
And then I think, if I remember, the editing kind of became a larger conversation. We started to collaborate on all the sort of cuts, kind of going back and forth, trying to just tighten and refine things. Mm-hmm. And so that was pretty good experience.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And we're also joined today by a guest host who is also a friend and colleague, Marshall Curry. And Marshall, I understand that you are a dear partner of this entire crew, and in your own right, sort of Academy Award nominated for your feature-length films. Is it Street Fighter, the documentary about Cory Booker? I'm not sure if that's the right one, but
Street Fighter.
Oh, good. And so of course, congratulations.
He's got 2 Academy Award nominations, so he's got another one in there too. So.
Oh, fantastic! Well, Marshall, please introduce yourself as our guest host. We're delighted that you're here to join us.
Well, they're just documentaries, so I'm sort of in awe of people that can look at a blank piece of paper and pull a story out of the air and put it down, and then actors who can embody the characters that somebody else draws. And so for me, I just point a camera at people and make them do all the work. So, but Mark and I have been friends for a long time, and I've been an admirer of his writing, theatrical writing, and also film writing. So, so I'm thrilled to be able to watch what he does and talk with him and hear from the rest of the crew about it.
Oh, fantastic. And Marcia, we're going to sort of ask you to really sort of have a good conversation with both the cast and the crew, just, sort of as a member of the profession and the community. So we sort of thank you in advance. We'll be back to you in just a moment. Yeah. So I guess our first kind of round of questioning has to do with your sort of inspiration and vision for the session. And we'd love to hear from Hope. I hope you're available by phone still to talk about how you sort of thought about the role that you played. It was such a well-crafted experience. Mark, talk to us about your it's such a funny film. I love it.
Thanks. Well, and I'm blessed that I work in areas where I meet so many creative people, and I knew Hope from an agency we worked together in, and found out that she was an amazing actor, and kept that in the back of my mind. As I said, Marshall and I, way back when, were talking about how do you even get things done when you're working on a job. I remember that conversation from a party at a great agency we worked at called Nicholson a million years ago, and look where he is now. And Jimmy, the same thing. I guess that's kind of where it really started. Is Jimmy and I were working on a project, a commercial project at Nicholson, and somehow the conversation came up that I was writing plays and stuff like that, and I think a mutual friend said, "Oh, Jimmy's a director," and then my mind immediately went like, "Ooh, I can make films with this guy." So we were great partners in work, and then I said, "Jimmy, let's have some fun here." So. What was interesting was we worked on a film with Edgar, because Edgar's a friend of Jimmy's initially.
Ah, okay.
Whole kind of, it was almost like a kind of noirish romantic comedy, right, Jimmy? And then it was like I wrote something was crazy about guys cheating on their wives, and then the wives cheating on the guys and stuff. And we started playing with that. We did some shots of that, and it's somewhere out in like in possibilities for a million years down the road. But in the meantime, Jimmy loves correct me, Jimmy, but Jimmy loves kind of the crime and you know, likes action films. And I was like, well, I don't know if I could write that, but I love Elmore Leonard, and I love kind of like, you know, kind of quirky characters like that.
Right.
And I know gambling inside and out. I mean, it's just where I grew up, there was a lot of gamblers, and you know, and there's just something funny about, you know, some of the kind of the things that go on with gambling. So I kind of promised Jimmy, hey Pete, good to see you, man. There you go. So I kind of said to Jimmy, all right, I owe you a crime-ish noir thing. I don't know if it's what you expect, but let me write something for you. And that was kind of the start of it. And fortunately, Jimmy liked it enough to take on the gargantuan task of bringing it to life from a directing and an editing point of view. And what was really nice was, again, I knew Hope and asked her if she wanted to get involved. Jimmy was friends with Edgar, so we got, you know, the four of us. And the guy who's on the phone, Gustavo's my buddy. He's the old film school guy, the old Navy guy. So he keeps me straight in that he's got all the logistics down, and he's still got a good eye and stuff like that. He'll take care of anything, but he knows film, he knows what he likes, and he's a great third kind of you know, leg on the stool. So we kind of got started, and you know, and what was also nice, I loved, was that, you know, we kind of broke the walls immediately. You know, it's like Jimmy was directing and editing, but he was open to what we said. You know, Jimmy helped us figure out how to produce this. We shot some of it at his apartment. We shot a bunch at my house. We shot at a church that we found. And it was kind of like we had to put titles down. You know, as I say, and Gustavo was there for everything and contributing ideas and thoughts. And Hope brought that character to life. And it was like...
She really did. I mean, she really played that character beautifully.
Thank you very much for all those compliments. And I want you to know that, you know, this was like bringing back all that old school, you know, film school, like you say, because, you know, I'm talking years ago when video was just in diapers.
Right.
And now I get a chance to work with the new equipment and the new technology. But, you know, the creation of the scene is still the same. You know, the logistics are still pretty much the same. And that was so much fun to, you know, just to get back to that and just put a little bit of my input in there and just to be accepted. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. We were with you there. So that was kind of the start of it. I don't know, Jimmy or
Hope. Is Hope still with us on the phone?
Yep.
I am. Were you guys able to understand half of what I said earlier, or should I keep it really short?
Say whatever you like, Hope. You're on the phone, so we're just so appreciative that you're able to hang in here, and we're, you know, so please share what you like.
My pleasure. Yeah, I was just going to say it was really fun to take on the challenge of Lori, because that is one crazy script that when it's put together, it's like, who knew a film could be so sadistic?
And I have to say, and you know, Jim, you jump in too, but I think that was an impossibly hard role for you, and I don't know how you didn't kill us during the shoot, because I know we were driving you crazy and making you redo it, and I think I actually you were.
It was fun.
Yeah. Well, you were. I thought you were just great. You know, you were such a good. You were so flexible, and you kind of evolved it in the shoot. Like, we would shoot it, and then you try something, and also you were a perfectionist. So you weren't happy till you got it right, which I loved. I mean, you know, we were just kind of like, Jimmy, did you get it? You know, and it's like, if Jimmy got it, and he's like, no, I want to do it again. So I think there was a lot of, I think that, you know, when you write these things and Jimmy's directing them, you hope to get texture and depth in the character, and that's, you know, from a play to a film to anything. And I don't know how you could have brought any more depth to that character, which was an impossibly hard character to play, and carry off that surprise at the end. Like I say, my hat's off to you.
How long did it take you all to shoot it? What was the shooting schedule?
Partly it was because the more kind of spread some more to get all those colors and that depth.
Yeah.
And it was really, what was really challenging for me was trying to figure out how all those pieces could fit together in a real story, like that I could believe as I did it, because, you know, there's the misleading of the audience up top that needs to vibe like a therapy session, and yet it also, as I watched it, you know, for first time in a while the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, this does vibe like a therapy session, yeah, there's something going on, there's subtext, there's weirdness, you know, there's this tension, there's this attitude coming from Lori, and then she is sitting all over the place, and, you know, like, that all still vibes like it could be a therapy session. Mm-hmm. And then, like, figuring out how I could orient myself as Lori, mm-hmm. you know, there to collect payments from a gambler that would also vibe as a therapy session was really interesting. And then how to find what I could believe in for a justification of why do I want to do it violence. And that's what I have to, that's my job, but there's something in it that Lori seems to enjoy, because as soon as she laughs them, she's making jokes, you know? So, like, what is that? It just presented so many questions, and then it was the process of, like, zeroing in on what kind of understanding would help everything keep moving forward and help it make a coherent story, you know, so that you could look at it once and think it was you misled, and you could look at it again and say, oh, I see. Now I get what the relationship actually is. And, you know, I felt like, let me just check in. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm going on a lot.
I'm hearing you.
We can hear you fine, and because we have the brilliant Pete with us, he will fix our sound.
Yeah, on a live show, I'll be learning something today, I think.
So no worries. Go ahead, Marshall, continue.
Well, I was actually just curious to hear a little bit more about the shooting process. Were there some crazy things that happened while you were doing that, or challenges that popped up?
I think, and Jimmy, you jump in, because we did a lot. Jimmy and I did a lot, and Gustavo, you know, but because we were working together, we had a lot of time to do a lot of pre-planning and what we wanted to get done. And the other thing that's always a challenge is we're working on micro budgets. You know, I see, you know, the prices of films, and I'm saying, you know, oh my God, how do we get, like, you know, we have like 1 second of what they have. So when we do that, it immediately becomes, you know, okay, we need this. Can we turn Jimmy's apartment in the city into what looks like maybe a nice therapist lounge? And so then I'm bringing pictures from my apartment, from my house, to his place to try to get a little nicer there. You know, Jimmy did a great job of I remember, Jimmy, you pulled out construction lights to get some lighting on that. And you know, you had rented a camera and did a ton of time to get comfortable with that the weekend before. So that was, you know, kind of getting the city part, New York City, where we shot kind of the interview part. That was one day, right, Jimmy? We did that all in one day, I believe.
Yeah, that was one day shoot for sure. Yeah.
Yep. So that was that, and then the following weekend we took it up to Connecticut and Stamford, where I am. And, you know, again, I think the thing that we're always looking at is, you know, can we get a location that we can get in and out of? Can we turn it around? So a lot of the cutaway shots are different rooms of my house, and the church was probably the toughest. But my wife, Erin, is an opera singer, and somebody she works with works at a church in Stamford. So he was able to kind of leave the lights on for us a little longer. But then we got there and we were like, okay, so we have to show Edgar putting money in and taking money out of the basket, and it's Gustavo, me, Jimmy's shooting it, and Edgar. And we're like, how the heck do we make it look like we have a church here? So, you know, it was kind of, we put Gustavo with his jacket on by the organ, and then we took his jacket off sitting next to me, and we tried to crop it as closely as possible so it didn't look like three, you know, idiots in a church. It looked like a little more kind of, you know.
I totally thought it was a church, I want you to know.
So that was kind of, I think the thing with us is always, oh, you know, and then, you know, finding coin. I mean, a lot of it is I think even the piggyback, breaking the piggy bank, I think we improv'd a lot of that. Like, you know, when we saw what we had to work with and we knew we had to get stuff out of my house, I think we did change that to get the right shot. And when Jimmy was shooting in that room, it was the middle of the day, and my daughter was in that bed. You know, we were trying to figure out, can we make it look like it's dark? Can we get light on that piggy bank? And I remember that light, Gustavo. I don't know if you remember this, and Jimmy.
Yeah, I remember. It was a flashlight. It was a flashlight with a blue bulb.
Right. You were standing outside. It was actually a bicycle light, so it was just a little luminescent blue light.
Standing behind the door.
Yeah, standing behind the door. So, you know, it's a lot of little kind of like Band-Aids and fixes and stuff like that. But basically, it was a 2-day shoot, right, guys? It was one day in the city and one day up in Connecticut with Edgar to get the cutaway shots. And that was kind of the length of it.
And what about the process of sort of evolving? How tight was the final product to the script? How much of it was worked out while you all were shooting, and what was edited? Was it pretty tightly? Did they follow the script? Did the process follow the script pretty tightly, or were there a lot of?
I'm sorry, I was going to say, I think, and Jimmy, you jump in too, but I think from a script point of view, these guys were great because they were pretty religious to the script. Like, they really stayed on it, and if it changed, it was because Jimmy, Edgar, or Hope were such great people at their crafts that if there was a question, like I know a couple times Hope said, "Ooh, I don't know if I would say this," and we would work out a couple of words here and there. But basically, I think the dialogue was pretty much where it started. We did do some on-the-fly changes to kind of the blocking and the action. And I know, Jimmy, I remember even just trying to figure out after, like how do we get Hope, to hold that hammer up and stuff. And Jimmy did like a wonderful, wonderful job in a tight space without a lot of, time. Even though we did script it and Jimmy did great storyboards, a lot of that was like, her walking down the hallway and still getting sound and making that. I was kind of blown away because when you see the final product, it looks like that was really choreographed for a long time, and it was really a lot of that was on the fly, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, back to what you're saying. As far as the original question of being on script, I remember being pretty on script, and I think if there was any, I feel like if there's any changes to the script, it was only because in that moment, that improvisation sounded right. It just was natural or something. It was kind of within the spirit of the script. So the script was really the wireframe, the structure for the vehicle for the whole thing. And so we just, that was the plan. We stuck to that.
Oh, I do know one funny improv though was remember we were shooting the sports scenes. And we wanted to get a wrestling in there because the guy was betting on professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And that was Gustavo, who's a natural Spanish speaker. And what he's talking about is, I think, Mil Mascaras or some wrestling dudes. And he's, this guy's such a degenerate. He's betting on professional wrestling. So I think we just wanted to throw that in for the fun of it. So that was one little thing we threw in there.
Great.
But I think you're right, just working on the last minute, just looking around, you see what you have to work with, and you're trying to stick to the script, and then you have to create the scene right at that moment. I think that was the most enjoyable part.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. It is. And then to see it come out is a blast.
Fantastic. Marshall, oh, dear, I hope we didn't lose Marshall. We have time for one more technical question. Is Marshall available? Okay. Well, I was going to sort of bring Pete into this and ask you, Pete, if you could talk a little bit about, your experience in post.
Well, I mean, with regards to this project, the post production, largely was that collaboration between Jimmy and Mark. They really kind of came to me with something that just sort of, I think, needed to be finely tuned by that point. They really kind of had it together, and I was just kind of able to kind of just I'm an editor by trade, but I participate in a lot of different aspects, I suppose, from all the way back to when this film was made. So the audio portion of it, I think, was just an aspect that just really heightened the film. I mean, I think it really it contributed, I think, of course, but it was really there when I got it. In that sense, they had really made so much headway that I was just at a point where I was just kind of adding things, but again, just sweetening things, I would say. So.
Well, you guys' collaborative spirit totally shows in the end product. I mean, it's a fantastic short film.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Mark, did you want to sort of add anything to Pete's comment?
Just that again, and I'd said that there's the obvious stuff, which was making sure everything was clear and stuff like that. But it was also great having a professional editor that was kind of like a godfather, that we could after Jimmy really slaved and got it to a point of heat. We had like a voice that could add to it, and so while Jimmy was the main editor, it was great to have Pete there. But it was also great because Pete also brought in like the voices of the TVs, and one of them is I think two of them are me doing the sports voice, and the way he kind of cut it and played with the pitch and stuff like that. It really worked out well. So again, it was a little bit of on-the-fly magic, but it's just such a pleasure for me, who probably the least technically adept out of everybody, and just to know you have people are willing to come in at any level and play with this thing. It just blows me away.
Okay, great. Well, Marshall is back with us. Marshall.
Yeah, I lost my audio there, my voice for a moment there, but I just want to say again that what a terrific film it is. I mean, it's great to know somebody like Mark, and just to be able to see one of these things from a conversation, sitting around having a cup of coffee, to a finished film there. It's pretty exciting.
Right, I agree. Okay, well, listen, you guys, we got it started a little bit late, but so we're going to have to bring this to a conclusion in the next 4 or 5 minutes. I wanted to give everybody a chance to talk about what projects you're working on that are new, that you want people to know about. We're tweeting live, as you know, so we can tweet some of this stuff out. We want to start with you, Marshall. Can you talk about some of the projects you're working on?
Sure. I have a documentary that I just finished a couple months ago. It premiered at Tribeca, and has been sort of doing the festival circuit now. It'll be
What's the name of it?
It's called Point and Shoot,
Oh,
and it's about a guy who goes on a 30,000-mile motorcycle trip through northern Africa and the Middle East, and ends up joining the rebels in Libya fighting Gaddafi. So it's a crazy story. He had a camera with him, so he was able to capture a lot of his adventures on film. And
what role would you have played, though, if he had the camera?
I directed it. So
okay.
he came back and had a bunch of footage. I actually didn't have to go to Libya. So, but the movie is sort of made out of interviews that I did with him and the footage that he shot.
Oh, fantastic! We look forward to it. And Pete, what about your projects?
Right now I'm since I do so much agency work, I'm really just kind of it's chasing so many chickens every day. So at the moment, in terms of a long scale project, I'm an open ticket on that part. But I would say that it's a daily battle, in a freelance world. So that is basically where I'm at these days. I don't have anything coming up in terms of a long scale project, but a couple shoots that'll be fun. And doing some viral videos, for different agencies, and just kind of getting out work like that these days. So.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic! Well, we want to make sure we tell everybody who's listening that this amazing person who does sound is sort of can be had for a variety of reasons. Thanks, Pete. Looking forward to your next project. And Jimmy, what about you?
Well, I started a boutique digital creative studio in 2010, and so I'm still doing that. It's my
And
own.
what's the name of the studio, Jimmy?
It's called POW Interactive, POW Interactive, and the website's powinteractive.net.
Oh, great.
And that tends to keep me pretty busy. So I've been doing that for a while, and recently, as of June 1, I picked up the company and my family, and we relocated to the West Coast. So we're based in Portland, Oregon now, which,
Oh, wow.
Mark, we haven't talked in a while, and I've been kind of hard to get in touch with, and part of that is because I've been relocating. I've been really busy and stuff. So
Don't worry, I'll track you down.
you know where to find me, online.
Great. Okay, well, I know you guys are going to enjoy Portland. It's a great city.
Yeah, we're loving it so far. It's been great. It's been great.
Congratulations.
Unfortunately, I haven't done that much movie making in a while, but I hope to pick it back up. Hopefully, it's like riding a bike.
And Gustavo, what about your new projects?
Well, as far as new projects are concerned, well, I've been working with Mark, and we sort of, we have been talking about a couple of scripts that he has lined up, and we're working on the logistics. Hopefully, we can complete one more film before the fall, right, Mark?
Yep,
And
absolutely.
well, we're just working on one of those, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm working on the location, getting most of the logistics all lined up, and hopefully we get that done pretty soon.
Oh, terrific. And Hope, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, great. Tell us about all your new projects.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been working on a solo show. It's a play with music, original music. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
It's called Skin. The title is Skin, and it's about sex, Virginia Woolf, and the transformative power of art. And story of a woman who's way overdue on her deadline for her graduate school education on a novel by Virginia Woolf, when she falls in love like never before. And the two things, the Virginia Woolf education and the love affair, conspire to bring her into a confrontation with, her entire life. And she has to write a happier future out of her fractured past. And there's original music all through. I've written songs. I work with this fantastic guitarist, Bob Parent, who tours in Montreal and with Denver. And he kind of supports the whole thing. He does sound effects. There's actually, it's a serious topic, but there's a lot of play, playfulness, and self-deprecating humor all through it. And actually, you can learn more, and you can stay in touch if you go on Facebook and look for Skin by Hope Simpson, and just like my page, and I will let you know about workshops I'm doing. You can see it in development, as I am hard at work on the script right now, and on the songs, and the whole 9 yards. I'll post different things there, and give away books and songs and all kinds of cool stuff. So, Skin by Hope Simpson on Facebook, or URL is Facebook.com/skintheplay.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we totally look forward to it. Thank you. And Mark, I would like you to do two things. I'd like for you to share, your own projects, of course, and then I meant to say this earlier, and I didn't give everybody a chance to talk about why you think itsashort.com can be helpful to you guys, since we have totally enjoyed having this hangout with you, and see ourselves as being a real, sort of asset to the artist community. So, Mark, go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm up to is what I've been up to, which is short films and still writing plays, but I really do love the short film venue. I love collaborating with people like this. I just entered another one in a cool online festival called Film Minute, and it's 1 minute films, and I was thrilled to be in it last year, and I'm hoping I get in it again this year with a new film that I just put out. I am shooting with Gustavo and whoever of these wonderful people, and maybe Hope. She hasn't known yet, but we are shooting another film late this summer, and I'm excited by that. And then there's also some commercial video stuff I'm constantly trying to drag Pete into and do some work with him. And then Marshall and I have to have a lunch because we talked about comparing the world of documentaries to the world of fiction, and we keep saying when we get some time we're going to do that. And
Right.
I just want to say, if this guy talks about being inspired by us. I have never seen documentaries that I'm sitting there with my fingers gripping the chair, and it's better than fiction to see one of Marshall's documentaries. And this last one is as intense and as amazing as you'll ever see a story. So hats off to you, Marshall, and thank you for joining us. And keep making those, because those are mind-bogglingly good. And for everybody listening, I'm sure you don't even have to look him up because he'll be nominated for about 20 things on this last one. So that's my original conversation with Marshall when we were both doing nothing, and now look where he is. But anyway, that's what I'm up to. Where you have been tremendously helpful, Christine, is we put out these films. We all do our own lives, and a lot of us have full-time jobs to support ourselves, and then we do this. So, I'm so thrilled that you found some of my stuff. I mean, it's as I'm sure everybody at this group will tell you, it's kind of a black hole when you do these things, and your confidence is always, one step away from what am I doing to, but if it's in you, you just kind of do it anyway. But when somebody says, hey, we liked your film and we'd like to show it on, something that looks and has kind of the weight of your site, it's a thrill, and I'm honored to be on there, and I'm also I feel good in that to see these faces and these voices and kind of have this kind of community, it really just I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We love this short film. We want everybody who's watching to sort of send. We're going to post all the contact information, the sort of Twitter handles of all the artists here, so that you can be in touch with them and let them know how much you enjoy their work. We at itsashort.com look forward to future collaborations with Mark and Pete and Marshall and Jimmy and Hope and Gustavo. And let's sort of thank you all very much for joining us this evening. I think that's it for us, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
you.
Okay, see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.